Welcome to this week's episode. We have our lovely model and guest, Raquel, here. Thanks for joining us. As you can see, her eyes are beautifully done, and that was in our Kim K tutorial in the last week's episode that we just did. So feel free to look it up, how we did her eyes. We're going to continue with the Kim K contouring now. I know a lot of people have asked for this episode, so here it is. And I'm going to start with using the Smooth Affair Primer from James Iredale. Always start with a primer for the skin. And make sure your skin is always nice and prepped with the proper skincare steps first to ensure a proper, long-lasting makeup application. When we're doing primer and makeup on the skin, you always want to use downward strokes so that way we don't lift any of the hairs on the skin. And a lot of people also ask, do you really need a primer? I would always say, yes, you really do need a primer, just because if you were painting a wall and you didn't use primer for your wall, you would know what the paint would look like. It just wouldn't be as smooth. So we want to make sure we use primer at all times. That would be the first step for contouring. The next step, you want to put on the foundation color of this natural skin color. So we're going to do a light layer of foundation all over. Okay, so now that the foundation's on to the real contouring. So we always use a darker color, a few shades darker than your natural skin tone when we're contouring to do a recession. So a recession or receding area would be under the cheekbones. So we're going to be doing a dark color here and here. We want the cheekbones to pop, so we might add a bit of light here later on, and I'll show you how. For the light colors you want to use a few shades lighter. For the dark colors you want to use a few shades lighter. So it really depends on how you play around with your makeup and what you decide to do. Yes, that also means you would need a lot of different colored foundations and lots of different colored concealers for a proper contouring. So I'm just going to get that all ready on my hand, and we're going to start. So light, we want to do light here. We also want to do light down the middle of her nose and light on her forehead, right here in the middle, and down her chin. Where we want to do the dark would be down the side here. And that way it'll make her nose look taller and show off the middle highlight better. And that's what Kim does all the time. And don't be alarmed that when you're doing this, it looks like this. That's how it's done. All right, so this would be the advanced contouring steps. As you can see, I did the darkest colors here in these areas where I want a lot of recession. This area is a secondary area that I want a little bit of darkness of contouring, but not too much. So I wanted to add just a slightly lighter color than that one. These are the lightest areas. I also did light here, and under the eyes, I did a nice eye brightener. So now with all that being done, I'm gonna blend it all together. You can blend it with your handy foundation brush or one of these makeup wedges or one of these sponges or one of these sponges, or you can play around and see which one works best for you. Just gonna do light rolling techniques. And then as you're rolling, you want to twist around your sponge, right? So then that way you don't get the dark mixed with the light and you actually get everything where you want it. You want to make sure just around the nooks and crannies, around the nose, everything's well blended along with the sides of the mouth. And then as you're blending, just blend just slightly under your jawline, just like this, so all the color seals under your jawline uniformly in color. And look up, just gonna blend out the under eye brightener. So the under eye brightener is like a correcting brightener that you can put on underneath concealer just to, even out any really, really dark circles or any veins, or it just helps your concealer go on better as well, so then that way you actually need less concealer. So everything's blended in. I'm just going to add some concealer for under her eyes. And then see, as you can see, after the eye brightener is on, the concealer goes on flawlessly and it just melts into the skin. You actually need less concealer. The eye brightener is really great for everyday usage when you're not wearing a lot of makeup as well. It just glides right into the skin. And so from now, what you see from what we just did when we had all the streaks and the different colors on, you can't really tell that we had that on before because it's all blended in so nicely, but all the subtle differences are in there. So when we complete, or all the subtle differences are in there. So when we complete the makeup look, you'll be able to see all the nice contours and the shadowing and shading. I'm going to continue to finishing her makeup, so then that way you can see the end result as well. To add to the contouring and shading and the highlighting from earlier, I'm going to do it again with a little bit of bronzer and highlighters. So this is the bronzer we're doing again in the shaded areas. I always like to do a little bit on the neck as well. And then if you need to go in with a smaller brush, you can go in with a smaller brush as well around the nose. So you can actually draw it in like this. This is actually how a lot of people draw in abs as well for those shoots. They just take a little bit of the darker powder and create that nice contour. And now I'm going to take a powder that's a little bit lighter than what she's wearing and put it right down the middle of her nose as well. So I'm going to start that off with just a flat matte powder, and then I'm going to add on some shimmering highlighter as well. When we're working with shimmer, we don't want to add too much, so we got to have a good blend of matte and shimmer. And then now I'm going to take the shimmer palette and sweep some up here around under the eyes. And a little bit on the forehead, down the middle of the nose, and down the chin a little bit, and a little bit above the lip. And then now we're going to add her blush. So with blush, we're going to do two phases. We're going to start off with a darker blush, which is also a more neutral blush, and then we're going to do a brighter blush. So this is the darker, more neutral blush. We're going to sweep it again on the whole cheekbone and contour line. And just turn this way a bit. Great. And then now we're going to add the one with a bit of color to bring the color back into the skin. Give it that nice warmth. And turn this way, just making sure it's even. Great, perfect. Now we're going to do a nice nude lip with a little bit of pink in it and some shimmer. Just going to do a final mist with our setting spray. And that way will ensure the makeup stays on and stays put all day with a nice veil of vitamins. Just going to take this off her so then you can see everything all together with her hair and her outfit. And there you go. We got the Kim K look all done. If you have any questions, please post your comments below. And I guess I'll be posting, of course, all the colors and the products I've used as well down below. so you can see everything I've used. Hope you like this episode. Please give me a thumbs up and like and share and subscribe with your friends. Thank you so much. See you next time.